Let's see what this is doing. It's my first time going live on Facebook, so, or on YouTube, so give you some grace if you pop in early and you say I haven't started yet. I have 9 minutes before I go live. Awesome. Well, it looks like it actually started already, so I'm gonna get going here. All right. This is my very first time going live on the YouTube. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm using my overhead camera this time, which hopefully is a lot better. I'll be able to see what is going on. All right. I think we're good. Okay, I'm gonna get started here. As long as I can see it and it's going and it's recording, then we can get started. So this is a custom order that I have. This is a second Farmhouse Wreath for the same client, but this one is going to be just beige and black. So to go over kind of the colors that I have going on here, we have, oops, let me go this way here. That is weird. Oh, there's a delay. Okay, so I have this farmhouse sign here. I already had this, fortunately, and this was kind of in the inspiration piece that she showed me of something that she would like. So we're going to go with this farmhouse wreath. Now, on the back, I have already attached 2 pipe cleaners that I wound together to make one long one. Look how long these are. It looks like a bug, right? But I want to be able to feed this through the wreath easily and not have to fight to find the ends. So that's why I made it longer. Most of this is going to get cut off. But I did put some cardboard squares underneath here before I used my staple gun, because otherwise, because of the length of my staples that are 5/16, it would pop through the sign. So I had to build it up with cardboard, and then I stapled it 3 times. And it's on there good. Now, some people use the cable tie mounts, and then they use E6000, and then some hot glue. That works as well. I really like to staple stuff in there, so I know it's in there. So that's going to be our sign. I'm going to move that to the side. We are going to be using, this is a pre-made wreath form, so there should be 8 spots on the inside and 10 on the outside. So when I cut things, I have to do it in groups of 18. But I'm going to do ruffles, and they're going to go right inside this wreath frame, which will be perfect. This is beige. For the mesh, we are using 2 kinds of mesh. I have this beige with white on there, so this is kind of like a white little cotton, because we are going to be using some of these little cotton pieces in the wreath as well. But this was actually Christmas mesh that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I buy a lot of it because I use this year round. The other one is also a mesh from Hobby Lobby. It is not from the Christmas section. It is from the regular section. But this is just the beige and tan 10-inch mesh. I scored a deal because I got this on clearance. For some reason, they were running clearance on some of their mesh. So I got that on clearance. So it made me happy. Anytime I can save some money. Okay, and now I'm going to go pop over on the other side of my table for just a second, because I dropped a roll of ribbon. It rolled right off the end of my table. But this is one that I want you to see. So this is, I think, a very cute ribbon. This has it's beige with white chicken wire. You notice this kind of plays up. There's chicken wire here on this sign as well. So this goes very nicely together. I also have this ribbon that says, it's got Farm Fresh, Country Life, Simply Blessed. And it has all these different, it's got a pig, a cow, a chicken. So, and again, this isn't like super colored. This is kind of understated because it's beige with the black. Now to play along with that, I also have this 1.5 inch black and white check, and I also have a 2.5 inch as well. And if I need some, like maybe like the very back of some of the bows is going to have a back in black. Now I'm not using any 4-inch mesh in this wreath. We're just going to focus on using ribbon tails. And then one of the other 1.5 ribbons I have is one of my absolute favorite ribbons to use, and it is a beige with white cabana stripes. And then if I need it, I have a small 7/8 in a black, so I can use that as well. So I think this will be absolutely perfect. So I'm making myself some room here so I can start cutting my mesh. So I'm going to move my wreath frame off to the side, okay? Uh-oh, why am I frozen? It appears that I was frozen for a moment, pardon me. Oh, and the other thing, sorry, when we get finished, we're also going to be using, check out these rattan balls. Some of it is like rope on here. Some of these are like little sticks. So this was kind of something that she wanted to put in there. Now these, I bought these, they were not on sale, but I got these from the at-home store. They were $19.99, but it's a huge box of them, and I could use this on multiple wreaths. So I wasn't too upset about the price. This was kind of called bowl filler, but I'm literally just gonna put some hot glue on them and stick them right in the wreath when we're closing up. So I'm gonna move these off to the side as well for now. Oh, maybe I can put a little more light here. See if this will help. A little more light. All right, we're gonna do that. And you know what? I think I'm gonna move this light over around here before we start, just because I think we need some light coming in from this way. I hope that is better. Sorry, this is my first time doing the live on the YouTube. Oh, I think that looks better. So bear with me. Okay, so now I have my mesh. Now this roll has 30 feet, which is 10 yards. But it's 18 cuts that I need to make. So I typically can get 19 cuts out of a 30-foot roll of mesh if I make them at 18 inches a piece. So I'm cutting 18 pieces at 18 inches a piece. Now I have my rotary cutter tool here, which we all want to have, right? We like rotary cutter with the blade cover. Very important. All right, now I'm going to cut just a little bit off. I always like to start with a nice fresh edge. Here we go. This is a bit of a duller blade, so I might have to cut twice. I apologize for that. Okay. So now I'm going to pull it out. Now I'm going to pull it out to the 10-inch mark, but I'm cutting it at 28, okay? So 28 minus 10 is 18. That's how I know I'm getting 18-inch cuts, okay? I'm going to pull it down a little closer to me because when I'm done, I'm going to lay them flat above the top. So here I'm just going to start cutting. I'm going to cut the entire roll, and if I have some left over, then that's fabulous. The reason I like to lay it down like this is because if I just leave it all rolled up, it tends to go flying off the end of the table, and then I get mad. We don't want that. So this helps to keep everything nice and organized. I have a little bit of OCD, so I also have to clean as I go. It's just one of my quirks. But I don't think it's a bad thing, because sometimes the cleaner space that you can maintain, the less fuzzy stuff and ferts and little pieces might end up getting glued into your project inadvertently. So we like that. Here we go. Well, I'm excited to do my very first YouTube live. I've always kind of ignored it. I've always typically posted things that I've recorded on other platforms, and I would post it here. But I thought, you know what? Let's explore the land of YouTube Live. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos with my daughter, actually. We are planning to go to Universal Studios in August. I know, why did I pick the hottest month of the year? Because it was cheap. It was cheaper. So that's why I did that. But we've been watching a lot of videos on there, and I thought, you know what? Let's do YouTube Live. I also do go live on TikTok. My handle is Sweet Arty Decor. I know, shocking, right? My business name. And then also on Facebook. Now, Facebook, I go live every Monday. I call it Monday Crafternoon, so I go live Monday at noon Central. A lot of people go live in the evenings, but I wanted to go live during the day because I know there are some people that maybe they work nights or they just want to watch something during the day. A little less competition for stuff to watch, so that's why I do Mondays. There we go. Kind of coming up to the end of the roll here, so we'll see how much we get out of this. But this is going to look really pretty. And something like this farmhouse style, this could be year-round. It's not seasonal, which is nice. I should have been counting this whole time how many pieces I'm getting. Because I don't have... Okay, I'm not going to get 18 inches more out of the black pattern, but let me see what I can get off of here for the beige, just in case I need an extra piece of filler or something. That is 18 inches. All right, so I'm just going to take this. It just goes to show that sometimes it's not always exactly the length that they say it's going to be on the roll. It could be a little off sometimes, and that's okay. But I'm going to put this one to the side because I really do feel like I've got 18, but I want to cut. So let's find out how many I have. How many groupings? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I have 19, so I have 3 extra pieces. That's fantastic. I always love to have a little bit extra because you never know if you're going to find a hole in your wreath or like a spot that looks particularly sparse. So I'm going to move my cutter. Now, just FYI, let me show this what this is. This is Susie's Triple Stationary Mesh Roller. You can get this at susieswreathsandthings.com or simplify-organize.com. This holds 6 rolls of 10-inch mesh. It holds 3 rolls of 21-inch mesh. You can put ribbon on here. If you have a shorter roll of wrapping paper, you can even put wrapping paper on here too. But this is one of my favorite wreath making tools. And there is an affiliate link. If you go to my link tree for Sweet Aria Decor and search Linktree, you'll find a link to that. That's my affiliate link. But I only really recommend products if I actually use them. And that is one that I would have a very difficult time holding the mesh without it, simply because I make so many wreaths. Okay, so here we go. We're cleaning up a little bit. Extra pieces flying behind me. I'm going to move my rotary cutter to the side. Okay, now, where are my blue-handled scissors? Ah, I want the good ones. Oh, here they are. Right here. I will recommend, these are what we call the blue-handled scissors. These are the best mesh or ribbon cutting scissors. I got mine from Deco Exchange. You can get yours from other places like MB Crafts Supply Co. as well. Carries blue-handled scissors. It's just, you hear that sound? It's just, it creates a really nice snip. Now my Fiskars, I love them, but they do tend to go dull on me a little quicker. So, all right, so now we're going to come back and start making our wreath form. I will cut the ribbons later, but for right now, I'm going to make the wreath. I like to take a little bin and just put my mesh in it. That keeps it from rolling away on me. So you can get wreath forms like this at places like DecoExchange.com or CraftOutlet.com. Those are my 2 favorite places. And I like this because this holds the bigger, fluffier wreaths, right? I do use Dollar Tree frames if I make a pancake wreath. But if I'm making something that's a little bit fluffier like me, because I like to make my wreaths like me, a little big, a little fluffy, then I will definitely use one of these for that, because the smaller wreath frames, they can't handle a lot of weight. All right, so going through, just opening up. I call these tines, they're branches, they're whatever you want to call them. But I like to get mine all opened up. Okay, now, You'll notice that I didn't use any 21-inch mesh. I could have used 21-inch mesh, and I could have made poofs all around and then put one set of ruffles in here, but I want to use 2 sets of ruffles. So how I do that is I'm going to take my first 2 pieces of mesh, okay? I'm going to take them apart. Now, I'm going to roll it down. I see how it wants to roll by itself, right? You see that? So I'm going to go rolling up like that. And then I'm rolling in just about like 3 times, right? So then it's kind of rolled. You can see that. I'm going to scrape my fingers up the center. I'm going to gather it, scrape it up. You want to go for a shape that looks like a bow tie, okay? Now, if you want your wreath to be a little thinner, sometimes you could put your ruffles in like that, and that's fine. But I like them thicker, so I like to leave this up because then you get all that texture, all the rolls. So I'm going to put that in the bottom. I'm going to twist it just lightly because I need to put this other set in here as well. So I'm going to do that with the light brown mesh. And I'm going to put it into that same section that I just put the other one. Because we're really going to build this up. But I'm going to kind of put it in where it looks more, I want them to go in kind of like an X shape, right? I don't want them right on top of each other. We don't want to do this. I want to go like that. That's going to give us the most coverage and the most fluff for our buck. Fluff for our buck. I've never used that phrase before. You can see how we got that nice little fluff, okay? Now when I go to the next set, I like to alternate. Sorry, I'm trying to find if there's any comments. So if you happen to be watching and you want to pop me something in the chat just so I can see how this works, I would really appreciate it, just to make sure that I don't want anyone to feel like I'm ignoring them. All right, I want to make sure everybody's watching, having a good time. All right, so now I'm going to start. Now this time I'm putting the lighter mesh on the bottom. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Gathering up the center. And I'll put that in the next set. And just a temporary twist. And I'll go to the next one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Gather it up. Open these back up. Now this one I'm going to put in here kind of up and down. Okay. And this way you can see how we're kind of alternating patterns, and by doing this, each mesh gets a chance to shine. We're not going to have it, oh, well, the checkered looks buried because the light brown is always on top. That's why I like to alternate it. You don't have to. You can always also use 2 rolls of the same mesh if you just want to go with one color. That works as well. Anything you want to do creatively when it comes to wreath making, own it. You know, you don't have to follow anyone else's recipe but your own. You know what you like. You know what your creative vision is. There we go. Now, if you are watching this on a replay, I will suggest at this point you can probably fast forward through me putting in the bottom layer of these ruffles. It should take me just a couple more minutes, but don't feel like you need to watch the entire thing because, well, it's just kind of more of the same. But I am putting in these ruffles. I do like to make the ruffles. I also will tell you, one of my other favorite wreath forms to use is an evergreen wreath form. Now, yes, those are typically Christmas wreaths. However, they actually hold up really well, especially if you get one that has 2 rings on it. Kind of like how this one has 2 rings, like a top and a bottom ring. That is really nice for Christmas wreaths because we typically put larger, heavier attachments on those. And you can always find those stock up at the end of the season after Christmas clearance because you will be able to save a lot of money. You can use those wreath forms all year round. And by the time you're done putting everything in there, you get your mesh, you get your ribbons, you put your attachments on there, and your sign, you hardly ever see those little green tines, and if you do, you can just push those to the back. So that was a method I originally learned from Gal vs. Glue Gun. That's Megan, and she's one of the members of the Deco Exchange coaching team. And I remember watching her at a crafters convention for the first time a couple years ago, making one on the evergreen, and I was sold. And she's just so cute and bubbly, guys. You should watch her. She's amazing. I know she's on Facebook. I love all of the coaches. I have learned so much. When I first started wreath making, I was like, oh, I can just watch Pinterest. That'll be good enough, you know. But it's not just about watching people make videos. I like it because it's a community, so we can ask questions. We can get to know each other, ask for advice, see how other people do things. I mean, I never would have thought of using an evergreen wreath for like Easter, right? Because like, who would think to do that? But it works, and sharing knowledge with others like that is awesome. That's why I like to post my videos. Because if other people like to craft as well, let's share the crafting love. My method is that crafting is really, really good therapy if you've been through, you know, stress, anxiety, trauma. I have a lot of trauma that I've dealt with in the past couple of years. Lost my husband to cancer, and that was very traumatic. So crafting kind of kept my sanity. It kept me from losing my mind. And I mean, I crafted before then, and it took a while to get back into it, to be honest, because I felt like, what's the point? You know, there's no point to anything anymore. But you know what? There is. So my motto is make pretty from pain. And it really has helped me immensely. And it has, well, I would say it has saved me on therapy costs, but honestly, I just end up spending my money at Hobby Lobby that I would have spent on therapy. But that's okay, because at least I end up with something pretty and something that I can sell to make a little bit of money. So, you know, there's that as well. So I always love to tell people that if you're going through stuff, try crafting, because it makes your mind quiet. You get to stop and focus on something other than yourself. It puts your brain in a different spot, and you get maybe a little bit of a break from the stress and pain and everything else that you go through. Everybody's got stress and pain in their life. I'd like to find somebody who doesn't. But it's super helpful. Now my daughter is 11. She's tried to craft with me, and she kind of has made some things with me, but her passion is drawing, which is amazing. I wish I could draw. I wish I could paint wreath signs. Like I see so many people being able to paint these beautiful wreath signs. I can't. I've tried, and it does not, that is not my strong suit. I don't know if it's like a fine motor skill issue with me. I don't know. But everything that I paint ends up looking like a 5-year-old did it. So that is not my strong suit. But making stuff like this, that is, I feel. So that's why I enjoy it. Here we go. Now this is the last set of ruffles that's on the bottom. So we're going to put that right in here. Hold it. Grab the other one. 1, 2, 3. Roll it. 1, 2, 3. Roll it. Ruffle it. And stuff it in. Okay? So that is the last one for the outside ring. So right now, this is what we have. Oops. This is how thick it is currently. Okay, you can see that. There's our current thickness. And now we're going to go adding stuff into the top layer. Okay. So, oops. See, now my mesh is starting to stick. All right. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. I want to make sure you guys can still see what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3. Again, if you've gotten this far and you know, you feel like you've gotten this ruffle part down, you do not need to watch this whole thing unless you're doing a step-by-step along with me. But you can fast forward. There's no harm in that. I will not be offended. Otherwise, I'm just going to chit-chat. Somebody commented once that I talk a little too much. Well, do you just want me to be quiet and just watch my hands? Then hit the mute button. I've never in my life been told that I talk too much. I hardly spoke at all when I was in school. Hardly at all. So, it's funny how people can change through the years. When I hit 33 and I went through a divorce, I decided I am going to stop being afraid of myself. So, Then I did karaoke and all the stuff that I always wanted to do but I was too afraid to do. And I have really enjoyed life a lot more since then. It's funny, I feel like I became a teenager and grew into myself in my 30s. I also went through an emo phase, and I still love My Chemical Romance till the day I die. If you don't know what that is, that's an emo band from like the early 2000s, the Black Parade, you know, that whole thing. It was kind of funny. Yeah, it was a little late for me to do that, but you know, I went through it. And I came out on the other side. And I found the love of my life during that time as well. So every time I hear like classic emo music, you know, Green Day and Blink-182 and Fall Out Boy and stuff, that always reminds me of my husband. We bonded a lot over that. We went to a lot of concerts and it was the best time. It's funny that you don't really realize that you are in the good old days until you are out of the good old days. So I am trying to just assume now every time I'm doing something that I'm in the good old days and that older me would want me to come back and really keep enjoying myself. So that's what I do. That's why I'm going to Universal Studios in August, where I'm probably going to die of heat stroke. That's okay. It's all right. My daughter really wants to go. It's like her pre-junior high school, you know, congratulations of going off to middle school. I'm sorry, middle school, not junior high. It's 6th grade. But I want her to enjoy that. So I'm going for her. And I'm also trying to lose weight so I can actually fit on the rides. Because I had a bad experience at Dollywood. On one of the rides, I loved Dollywood, but I was a little too fluffy to fit in a ride, and I forced myself into it, pushed the bar down, and once we took off and we went over that first, you know, the first hill, I guess, where, you know, it didn't go upside down, but it like went sideways. But my butt came up out of the seat, and my bottom muffin top, my muffin bottom of fat came out. And then I was very jiggly in that ride and literally almost fell out. I almost also lost my glasses, but I was literally holding on for dear life. And I've never been more scared in my life. I really, honestly was falling out of that ride. So don't ever force yourself to fit on a ride if you don't fit. It's not worth it. It scared the crap out of me, and I was bruised afterwards. It was horrible. But the rest of the park was lovely. It's nothing against the ride. It was me trying to force myself somewhere where I didn't fit. Kind of like me trying to sit at the cool kids table in 6th grade. Yeah, I didn't fit there either. And that's all right. Here we go. But this time I think we're going to have fun. But I'm not going on any rides that I feel are over what I'm going to handle. At this age, I'm 51. I am over stuff that goes upside down. Because if I'd paid $20 for lunch, I don't really want to give it back in the middle of a ride. You know, so there's lots of other stuff to enjoy. All the Harry Potter stuff. That'll be fun. Here we go. Now, again, see, I'm alternating still, so now I'm going back to the black and beige. I really do like this mesh from Hobby Lobby. This is a thicker, it's like I guess call it like a poly burlap, because it is burlap, but it's got like a little plastic coating on there, so that's the poly. But I do love it. But they have raised their prices on the mesh. I think it's now at $12.99 a roll. I think that's why some of it was in the clearance bin, is because it had the old prices on there. But wait till they have 50% off. When they have their ribbon and stuff, that's when you got to get it. But I buy a lot of their Christmas mesh from there as well. And I use it year round. Okay, this is the last set of mesh we're using on the top. Go. Here, I should chat publicly. I don't know. I'm trying to chat and it's not letting me. I don't know what's going on. Sorry. Oh, here we go. I'm just going to say hello. There we go. Yay. I just want to make sure it was working. Sorry. This is my first time going live on YouTube, so I just wanted to, I'm trying out all the bells and whistles, seeing what fun stuff it's got. as opposed to if I just post videos recorded on other platforms. All right, here's the last ruffle. It's kind of, sorry, it's rolling off the table here. I'm getting a little loopy. I'm still on a massive sugar high. I'm diabetic, and I've been very good on watching what I've been eating, but I went to the movies and I had a bunch of candy. So I really hope that my high sugar monitor does not go off on my phone. I apologize if it does, but I'm feeling a little bit loopy. Okay, so here's our wreath. As you can see, it is measuring. So if that's 10 inches, it's going to about. This is about a 24-inch wreath. Once we get everything on here, and for depth, I'd say this is probably looking at 8 inches. So this is a fluffy boy, okay? But that's exactly what she wanted. It could be fluffy, okay? So. Next, I just wanted to give you a little layout as to what we're going to do here. So we're going to have a farmhouse sign. We are going to do some ribbon tails kind of all around. And then on the very bottom, I'm going to have a larger bow. Okay? But on some of the ones that are like up top here, like here, here, and here, I'm going to have the ribbon tail, but I'm going to do an extra smaller little mini bow. And then we're going to take some of the balls and kind of put that in there. So that's the look that we are going for. Now, in order to cut my ribbon tails, I have this ribbon tail board. This is from Hot Mesh Mom. You can get it at shophotmeshmom.com. And they might look a little different now if there's a different style, but it comes with 2 sets of boards, right? We got 10 to 12 inch and 13 to 14 inch. I typically always use 14 inches for my tails. So now I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to pull together what I am using for my ribbon tails. So I've got more. I'm trying to use up these rolls before I go to the other ones. Okay, so we're going to have these as 2 beiges. And then we are going to have, we have that one, which is cute. And then I have black, but honestly, I don't want to add too much black into this, so I'm not going to cut tails out of those. I will end up using that probably in some of the bows. Let me think. How many am I going to do? Because I pretty much want to do ribbon tails all the way around. So if I have 18, but I only have 3 patterns, so that means 18 times 2 ribbons apiece is 36. So then if I have 3 different types of ribbon, that 36 divided by the 3 types of ribbon means I have to do 12 tails of each pattern. So I'm going to do 12 tails. I'm so proud of myself, guys. I just did math. Math is not my thing at all. So I'm very excited about that. So we're going to cut 12 ribbon tails of each pattern at 14 inches long. So how I do this is I just wrap it around here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all I'm going to get out of this roll. So I've got 5. So bear with me, okay? All right. Now, I pulled it off, and I have this loop here, right? I have the ends bent. So I'm just going to cut one side and cut the other side, and I now have the 5 tails. I know this would have been easier to show you if I had a whole spool of ribbon, but we'll do that again, okay? So here we go. And what I do now is I'm going to lay them all out. I'm going to get them as flat as possible and all lined up, okay? I'm going to bend them in half so all the wired edges are touching each other, okay? So I have a folded edge here and a wired edge here. I'm going to cut from the inside outward angled toward the wires. And then that is what they call a dovetail. It is a nice finished edge. It's not going to fray. It makes everything look nice and polished. So I'll do that again on the other side. Okay. Put that on the side. So now I have 5 tails. I need to cut 7 more off the new roll because I need 12 total. But I'm also going to have enough then left over to make a very pretty bow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now these, I don't want to cut all 7 at once. I'm just going to do it into 2 stacks. All right, making sure everything is flush on the end before you bend it over, because otherwise you'll end up with uneven dovetails. And we don't want that. We want it to look nice and pretty. Okay, snip, snip. That's why it's nice to have these blue-handled scissors, because they're very sharp. They're very nice. Don't accidentally cut yourself, because they will cut your skin. I have cut myself on numerous occasions, because that is just what I do. Okay, now we're going to cut our Farm Fresh pattern. Again, I need 12. I don't know if I'm going to get all 12 out of what's on the roll here, so let's see. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We did it! Yay! And got just got a hair left, but I'm glad I have a whole other roll we can use for the bow. So that is exciting, very exciting. All right, going this way. We're gonna cut this side. Okay. And now I'm gonna bend these together. Cut outward. There we go. This is gonna be really cute. I wanted to get this finished up because this customer bought both a lemon candlestick centerpiece and this, and I want to ship it and make it all one order in Etsy. So that's why I wanted to get this done tonight, so that I can get that over to her. That'll be nice, because I do custom orders. Always happy to work with somebody. If it's not a style that I'm comfortable making, or I think I know someone that could do that style better, I will absolutely be honest with you, because I know lots of other wreath makers and tons of people that I could refer you out to if it's not something that I feel is in my wheelhouse. I never want to try to make an attempt at something and then give somebody something that I'm not 100% confident in. Okay, now we're going to use this. Now this is actually a cream color, not white, but it looks like white. I use these on my snowman tomato cage trees. This is my favorite checkered ribbon. I do not like the checkered ribbon from Hobby Lobby, the black and white that comes out at Christmas. It is way too thin to be useful. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a pretty pattern, but it frays very easily, and I'm not a fan of their value ribbons. I mean, if you can use it for something once and then toss it away, that's fine. That's probably the point of having that ribbon, but I don't use that in something that somebody's going to keep. Okay, here we go. All right. All right, now we're going to cut. We're going to dovetail again, bending it together, cutting from the inside outward toward the wire on an angle. There we go. Dovetail, dovetail. Very pretty. All right. And here I go again. Oops. Trying to make sure that I have them all flush. So hold on. The wires are getting a little wonky on me here. All right, there we go. And don't cut too close to the end either, because you want to make sure you're not going to end up messing up your dovetail. There we go. I do have a garbage can underneath my table. I'm not just randomly throwing stuff on the floor. That must look kind of weird if you're not here. Okay, here we go. Dovetail. And dovetail. Okay, now we have all of those ribbons cut. I'm going to move my ribbon tail board. I'm also going to take the sign off, move that over, because now I'm going to sit down, because my back hurts, because I'm old, and I'm going to put these ribbon tails in. So I'm going to do it here so you guys can see better. So I'm going to keep my wreath over here. I have 3 different patterns. I have checkered, I have country life, and I have chicken wire. All right. So I'm trying to alternate kind of which ones I use together. So right now I'm going to do a chicken wire and a country life. Now this one is really cute, so I'm going to put that one on top. Okay. And I'm then going to bend this in half. Okay, so our edges down there are together. I'm going to push down so I have my crease. Okay, you can see I got my crease. When I open it back up, there's a nice line there that tells me how I have to gather my ribbon. Now I'm going to start on the bottom layer. Because I'm starting on the bottom layer, I'm going to bend these down. Because my top layer is going to make an X shape, okay? But this layer, it's all going to be tails coming down and outward. So I've got my shape. I'm going to open up my wreath tines here, okay? It's all open. Notice how the mesh is staying. It's not popping out. It's staying. It's because it's really nice and it's already squished in there. I'm going to put those in here, okay? And I'm just going to twist. There we go, okay? Now, how I do it is I do the bottom ribbon, I pull up, and the top ribbon I come down, and then kind of the opposite over here, okay? So you'll see it alternates, but this also gives it a chance for each ribbon gets to shine. Nothing is covered too much. You want to be able to see, if you're paying for that pretty ribbon, you want to see all the patterns. I'm going to do that all the way around the bottom. Now, next one I'm going to do is probably checkered and I'll do checkered and chicken wire. Now, because I had chicken wire on the bottom there, I'm going to do chicken wire on the top here, okay, as I go around. I'm just trying to, if I had a nice fourth one, I probably would have just alternated like that, but because I only had 3 that I wanted to use, that's where I kind of got to get a little creative with the pattern in which I'm putting them in. I don't want to put 2 of the exact same pattern next to each other. Okay? And now the next one would be this. Okay. It can be random. It does not have to be the same going around. I just don't want to have 2 of the same right next to each other. Okay. This is going to be so cute. So, so cute. All right. Next one, I'm going to go back to this and this. Okay. I don't want to put my country life on the bottom. So even though I'm going to have 2 country lives on top of each other, they've got a different ribbon on the bottom. So to me, that's okay. But really, if that's what you want to do too, go for it. More power to you. You know, it's all about whatever you like. Because especially if this is going on your door, then nobody else should be judging how you're doing it or making it, right? There we go. Now I am kind of keeping the black and white checkered always on the bottom because I don't want to have too much black. So it's in there as an accent, but I'm not really ever going to have that as the top layer. I don't want to do that. So that is okay. Now we're going to go with our Farm Fresh and our black and white checkered. There we go. Bending it over. I am going to show you in this video too how to make a bow. Now I cannot make a bow by hand to save my life. My left hand does not hold stuff well. So I have to use a bow maker, but I actually prefer to because if, you know, something happens or I got to go to the bathroom, somebody comes to the door, I can just leave it in the bow maker. I don't have to put it down. It's not going to unravel, and I'm not going to have to redo my work. Hold on a second. What was the pattern I was using? Farm Fresh. That. Hold on a second. I go back. Sorry, I was talking. Now I'm confused. Farm Fresh. Checker. Farm Fresh. Okay, then I can go back and do a... I guess we're doing this. Here we go again. There we go. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a specific pattern or recipe, just to make sure it's not 2 of the exact same next to each other. We don't want that. Oops, there we go. Okay, let me see how many more. Just a couple more on the bottom. Country Life, and I'm going to do this. this. Alrighty. I don't know what my daughter's watching on TV, but it sounds like Home Alone because somebody's screaming. Alright, here we go. You know, I don't think she actually really got into it last time we watched that movie. I feel like I failed her as a mother. Alright, I'm going to go do country again. Country life. Bend it over. Here we go. Put that in there. And separate them out. Up and down. Up and down. Okay? And once I get this row in, I am going to lift up the wreath and I will show you what that looks like right now. Okay. Here we go. All right. Well, I hope you're enjoying watching this. I know sometimes, you know, this might look a little bit repetitive or like, you know, let's move on with it. This is the necessary part before we get to the fun stuff about stuffing it with the goodies and putting the bow on. So, you know, this might not be the most exciting part, but it's necessary. Okay, so this is where we're at with this wreath right now. This is what the ribbons look like on the bottom. Now we're going to do the top. Oops, as I drop all of my ribbons onto my lap. Of course. All right, so now we're going to go to the top. I'm going to start right here. Now this time I'm going to make more of an X shape. Instead of having them all go down like that, we're going to do an X shape. Because I want to fill in going into the center of this wreath too, okay? I mean, these are a little bit of an X shape on the bottom, but it's not like a true big wide X. All right, so we're going to start with that and this. All right. All right, there we go. Here we go. So I'm trying to bring it both down and up. Moving to the next one right here. And they might not have to be so down and up because we're going to have the other ones that will kind of fill in this space here. All right. Chicken wire and farm fresh. That's our next set. Pinching it up. Putting it in. All right. Now you can do this too. If you're not sure if it's centered, pull it up and make sure that they kind of look even. And if they're not, you can just open these tines up very easily and fix it. All right. Going around. So now we're going to have to do a... Oh, let me see what I did. I did that pattern, I did that pattern, and I'm going to have to do this with the chicken wire. So plaid with a chicken wire. Here we go. In. I do like the farmhouse look on wreaths. It's very pretty. You know, some people say, oh, farmhouse is going out of style. I don't think it ever will. I think it might change what farmhouse kind of looks like from time to time. But if you go something like this with like the beige and the black and white, if you ever want to add a little dash of color, maybe a little red, maybe a little sage green, maybe a little yellow, you can always just take florals and just add them, and you can just set them in there or just use a tiny little bit of glue and just poke it in there. And then when you want to change it out or to go to a different accent color, you can just take them out and poke something new in again. There we go. Because I do like the idea of trying to reuse what you have instead of buying new all the time. Of course, as a wreath maker, I don't mind if you buy new. We like that. But budgets don't always allow for people to go out and buy a whole bunch of new stuff. So it is very important to try to keep that in mind too. You know, if you're a wreath maker trying to sell these, you know, I try to have things in lots of different price ranges because I want to be able to accommodate everybody, but I know everybody has a different budget. You know, there is the whole concept of, you know, your perfect person and what your perfect person has. But sometimes, you know, you just have to make sure that, you know, you don't want to exclude anybody. Here we go. I might have to cut some more of the black and white ones. I'm going to see. I'm going to see where we go. All right. This way. This way. All right. Oh, no, I went the wrong way. Look at me. See? There we go. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go black and white with the chicken wire. Chicken wire goes on top. Because again, I didn't want to put the black and white on top of any of these because I don't want the black to pull it down. It's just meant to be an accent in the background, not the main character. Okay. Now I might open some of these up once I get the sign in. I can open these up. If I want to put a little bow in there or add a little bit more of an accent, I absolutely can do that. Okay. This actually, is this our last one? I might have overcut then. Or I might have missed. I don't know. That one's got one, that one, that one, that one, that one. That one. All right, this looks like this is the last one, so I'm going to use the 2 beige. Okay. I'm going to bend it. Maybe I missed one on the bottom. I'm going to double check in a second. Maybe, well, there could have been 17. There has to be 18. I told you guys, math is not my thing. All right. There we go for that. This is a big fluffy boy, but I love it. Okay, that one's got one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aha! There's the one I missed. I knew I missed one. I missed one, guys. I told you. Right there. All right. My math was good. My eyes were off. All right, there we go. All right, twisting it, separating it out. All right. Okay, so here we go. Just giving it a last fluff. There we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. And that's how thick it is. Okay? So there we go. Now, I am going to put this, no. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. I dropped one of my ribbons. That's okay. I think we'll be okay without it. I'm going to go grab it. Okay, I'm going to move my wreath off to the side for right now. Okay? I'm going to go get my ribbon that fell. And we're going to start making our bows. We're going to make a bottom bow. Actually, you know what? We're going to put the sign in first. You know what? I want to put the sign in first. Because this is going to basically then determine how big my bow is going to be. So here's our farmhouse sign. Okay? It's going to be a little higher up because I'm going to have a bow on the bottom. So this is not exactly in the direct center. It's going to be a little higher up than direct center. But what I'm going to do is take these pipe cleaners. I'm going to kind of feed it in there. Now I'm not pushing the pipe cleaner through the mesh, but I am pushing it through the spaces that are already in there because of how the mesh ruffles are. So I'm kind of going between my ruffle spaces, okay? All right. So flip it over. You see how it's over 2 of the rings? So then I'm going to twist it. Okay. I'm not going to finalize this yet. So later on I will wrap it around here, but as we work on this, the sign might need to be tightened. So I'm not, Linda, what are you doing? I'm not going to fully tighten it in there yet. Okay. Now this one, I'm going to have go fine in between the ruffles. All right, I found my, you just got to find your path. There's a path, you just kind of got to go around where you think it's supposed to be. All right. Now, I also don't want to squish the ribbon, so I got to make sure, careful of my ribbon placement. All right. I'm going to flip that over. There we go. I'm tightening that. And I'm just going to, again, leave these until I'm completely done. And then I know I don't need to tighten my sign any further. Because right now it feels good. It feels good for now. All right. All right, here we go. So now that's in there. So I'm going to focus on making a bow. It is going to go, it's going to probably sit right in here. It's going to go right over those. So I already have some ribbon tails on there. Now honestly, if I was going to put a bow in here, I could have probably skipped putting ribbon tails in, but they might still poke through. So I'm glad I went ahead and did that. But if you're trying to save on materials, you can always do that. Okay, so I'm going to move this over to the side so we can make our bow. I have a tool here. This is called the Easy Bows Design Pro. It is my favorite wreath making tool ever. Ooh. Sorry, I'm moving my rattan balls over too. All right, so we have all of this here. Now remember what I said when we started about how I was going to just have a nice solid black as the bottom. So this is not going to have very, very long tails. This is going to be kind of more of a, I guess more of a rounded bow kind of at the bottom. If I think that's what I want to do. What do you think? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay. So this black is going to be the base. So I'm putting this in my, right here between the tines. I like this one because it is plastic. So if you go to my link tree for Sweet Aria Decor, I do have a link to the Easy Bows Design Pro. There is a smaller wood version of this as well. I just got the Pro because I use this like every day. So I put the ribbon right down between the tines. I'm going to make sure that I've got, this can be a little bigger. So I'm going to put my one tail over like 8.5 inches. You can see over here, 8.5 inches. Now I'm going to pinch and twist what's over here. It's on my left, okay? And we're going to go, so I just realized you guys are upside down. I'm so sorry. My Mevo camera is acting up. Wonder if I can twist it. Hold on. Let me see if I can flip you guys around. No, I don't want to do that. Sorry, give me a minute. I wish I could just kind of flip it around, because right now you're upside down, and that's not cool. Okay, well, we're going to have to continue it this way. I apologize. Turn your device upside down. Will that work? Probably not. Image control. Nope, that's not letting me flip it around either. All right, I apologize for that. From when I initially set it up to now, it flipped itself. So that stinks. Okay, but I'm putting this ribbon in. I'm putting it right down between the tines, okay? And you can see that it's got like a nice rounded, it's rounded, it stays rounded. Because this is a wired ribbon. Do not try to use non-wired ribbon in your wreaths. It will not go well. Okay, so this is coming out to 7 inches. Okay, I'm not squishing it, right? I'm not flattening it like that. I want to leave it rounded at 7 inches. Now I'm going to take this other side and I'm pinching and I'm twisting it now so that the back side is facing me. It is hard to see what is the back side when it's a solid black ribbon. It'll be easier when we use the patterned ribbon, but just trust me. This is the back. I'm going to put this down, push this over to 7 gently. Okay, push it down, and then this tail, that one is 8.5. I'm going to cut this a little past 8.5 because I want to dovetail it. So give yourself a little bit of extra room to cut that off. Wired edges together, cut to the inside out. All right, now I'm going to pull this loop down and that tail up. And then we're going to have that loop up and that tail down. So again, it's opposites, and you're looking at this, and it is the shape of an X. That's what we want. This bow is going to have a round shape when we're all done. I'm moving my black off the table because I am done with it. Now my next layer is going to be the chicken wire. I'm putting that in. I like to dovetail it when I start. Most people dovetail it at the end. I'm just weird. It's just one of my quirks, okay? Now I'm going to put this in. Now because I started with my tail over there last time going this way, I'm going the opposite way this time, okay? So I'm putting my tail in. If this tail hits at 8.5, then I want this tail to hit at like 8. I'm going to have everything come in a 1/2 inch now, okay? So then I've pinched and I've twisted, okay? So I see the pretty side over here and the ugly side, or the back side over here, okay? I'm going to take that loop, put it through. That previous loop was 7 inches. This one I'm going to have at 6.5. I can push down on here, hold it, and then I pinch and twist. And now I see the back side. Okay. I'm going to bring this over, do what I did on the other side, do a 6.5 inch. Okay, and then I push that down. Then I bring the tail over, and we want this tail to hit at 8. I'm going to cut it. And if these tails end up being too long, I can fix it. I can trim it down. Okay, so we're going to do again, tail up, loop down, tail down, loop up, okay? But nothing is going to be covered. I'm going to show you in a second. I can still see every single layer, okay? Each one has its time to shine. Nothing is really being covered, okay? That's how we like to do this. We do that, the more we go through, that ensures that you really get to see each of the patterns of all the different ribbons that we are using. So now my next layer is going to be the black and white. Pulling that out, again, I dovetail it to start because I'm weird. All right, now I'm going to go back to starting with my tail over here on my right-hand side. I'm very sorry this is upside down. And this tail is going to hit, if we had 8.5 and 8, now this is going to be like 7.5, okay? I'm pinching and twisting. Now again, because this has the same pattern, it's hard to tell what's the back, but this is the back. Now this loop, the last layer was 6.5 inches. This is going to be 6 inches. Okay. Actually, no, that was 7, 6.5, 6. Okay. Then I pinch and twist. Here I go. Looking at the back side of the ribbon now over here. Bring my loop over. And that's 6. Okay. There we go. Ooh, these lights are very warm, and I am very menopausal, so I am having some major hot flashes right now. I apologize if I have to turn my fan on. I'm trying really hard not to. Okay. Ooh, lordy. Oh God, it's hot. Ooh, and I didn't bring anything to drink. Oh well. Okay. Again, I'll put that one behind me. Now, I do have a little bit of country life left, and we might, 1, 2, now we're not going to have enough to make a really pretty bow on that one, so I'm going to open up my other spool, okay? If you do ever have a pattern where you don't have enough of it to put in loops, you can always just make a tail, go straight across and just cut the dovetails on it, and that will at least give you a little bit of the pattern in that bow, even if you don't have enough to make loops with it. I do that all the time. You also, if you end up having like one piece of ribbon left on a bunch of patterns, save them because you can just put all those tails together and make a bow out of that as well. It's all about trying to recoup money. You know, if there's enough to use, don't throw it away, but also don't hoard it. The one thing I typically will just toss is mesh, because if that sits around a while, it does not stay well. Okay, now here's my thing with this. This is directional ribbon. Okay, so you can see there's a pattern on there. It goes up and down. If I started this way, my dudes would be upside down. So I don't want to do that. So I got to start going this way, because this is correct side to me. This is up and down for me. I know it's upside down for you, and I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in there, and then end up coming to like 6.5. I'm going to pinch and twist. Okay. Now my last set of loops hit at 6, so this is going to be 5.5. So I'm going to put that in. Check out 5.5 is right here. Okay. And it doesn't have to be exact, but they do need to be the exact same on either side. You don't want them to be, it's very obvious if they're not. Okay. It's 5.5. Okay. Now, we're going to do something else. Look down here. Okay. From my perspective, this loop is upside down. It looks correct side to you, which means it's upside down to me. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dovetail this baby. Okay. But I'm going to take this loop. I need to make it right side up, okay? I'm going to take this the whole loop that I've pinched, okay? Take that whole loop and I just twist that loop. I pinch it still, so keep the pinch tight, but I can twist that whole loop and now it is right side up. So that's the only real consideration that you have to deal with directional ribbon is when you're making the bow, just kind of make sure that you pinch your loop and twist it if you have to, and you start at the right spot. All right. Now, I had brought in the black and white to do a little ribbon on there, but I think I'm going to end up going with the cabana stripe because I think that's going to be too much black. So I'm using my cabana stripe. Now, this is my 1.5 inch ribbon. This is also wired. I'm going to trim that, cut the edge off. I'm going to start down here. All right. I'm going to go like that. So that is, I think that's like a 5.5 inch tail. Okay. Now, I might come in a little bit more. Technically, this should have had to be a 5 inch loop because the other one was 5.5 inch. But, yeah, I guess I can do that. A little less than 5.5, I think, or 5 inch. All right, and then this is going to come out. I'm going to dovetail. Okay. Now, this might normally be enough, but I have been doing something lately with a lot of my 7/8 where I will add in 7/8 just because if I put this on here and I use my zip tie, even if I pinch these loops together, you might still see that zip tie a little bit. So I like to use a solid 7/8, and you don't have to do this. I got this from Craft Outlet. You can also get it from Deco Exchange or Wreath Supply Shop. Lots of different wreath retailers online should carry it. Okay, so I'm putting that one in. That one is that's like a 5 inch tail. All right, and then this loop is probably going to be, this is like a 4 inch loop, okay? Pinch and twist, 4 inch loop. Double check. Yep, 4 inch loop. Now this one, I'm not dovetailing. I simply just cut this on an angle because it's smaller and narrower. If I dovetail a 7/8, then the 2 points end up looking like fangs. I don't know why. So I'm like, I don't need to do that. Okay, so here is our bow. What I'm going to do is reach behind me and get 2 pipe cleaners. All right. I'm going to make one long one. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to cross them over, and I just then twist it. All right, so we're going to twist it into itself, and we're making one really long pipe cleaner. This makes it easier for me to feed the bow through and not have to mess with it. Then I'm going to grab a black zip tie. Now here's the funky part. I'm gonna pull my bow up just a little bit, enough that I can get my fingers underneath. I'm gonna push down on the top while I pull up from the bottom. Think of it as you have a big BLT sandwich and you don't want anything sliding out. Keep your tomato in there. All right, we're pulling it all the way up. All right, and pushing down, okay? You don't want anything to go sliding around. That's the big thing. So I'm gonna just quickly pick up my index finger and slide that right under, okay? Then I'm gonna feed this zip tie, if I can pick it up. If I can pick it up, here we go. I'm going to feed it between my fingers on the bottom. I'm going to just slide it underneath my thumb ever so slightly. Then I bring it around from the back. And you can hear it snipping. Now, I'm going to slide it all the way around to the back. Don't fully tighten it yet, okay? It's on there and it's tight. Nothing's going to move, but I want to adjust my loops now and make sure that I kind of like the placement of where everything is before I pull it tight within an inch of its life, okay? Make sure I like everything. Okay, everything's gonna have its, we wanna make sure nothing is hidden. Okay, I pull these two loops together, pinch them. There we go, and now you can't even see that zip tie. All right. It also helps that it's a black zip tie with a black ribbon. That's why a lot of my bows end up with a white or black ribbon on the top. Now this one is a little bit longer. I'm going to pull just a little bit. There we go. That's why I didn't fully tighten it yet. Now I'm going to pull it around and tighten all the way. I'm snipping off the zip tie. Now it's on this pipe cleaner, but I like to give it a twist. Okay, just so I know it's not going to go sliding around at all. And here's our bow. I'm going to do it upside down for you guys so you can see it. Here is our very pretty, very fluffy bow. Okay? So now we're going to bring our wreath back up here. So let me move the ribbons. I do find it easier if I pin my ribbons as well when I'm done using them. It just creates less mess. So I always put a pin back in my ribbon so that, you know, so that it doesn't do this all over the place, because then it unspools. It touches another spool, and then they all unspool together, and then it's a hot mess. All right, let's bring the wreath back up. And we may still make, we might make some bows on the other spots, but I might use rattan balls too. Okay, so this is the spot here where we want this to go. Now, I'm not going to open up these tines. I'm simply going to put the pipe cleaner. You can see where there was the spot where everything went through, so I'm putting that over that spot, coming around, pulling it over that. All right, so I've got my two spots. And I'm making sure that I'm going over the top and the bottom, so I'm going over two rings, okay? I'm not taking it all the way down to the bottom, but I'm doing this, okay? It's over 1 and 2. I'm going to pull real tight. And I'm going to twist. So as we're twisting, all right, I'm going to snip off the end to make it flush. I think the same here. So I'm going to do a little bit more twisting of the sign. All right, but I'm going to do all of mine now. I am squishing my bow a little bit, but that's okay because it's wired ribbon and we can fluff it back up. Alrighty, so now I'm going to wrap this just around those two rings and then just kind of bend it back in and shove it all together so that the end is kind of underneath the two other parts are wrapped it around. We basically just don't want to have anything sticking out that's going to snag on anything, okay? I'm just going to wrap it around, and boom, perfect. A nice and clean back. All right, there we go. Let's flip it back over. Now we're going to refluff our bow because I did squish it a little bit. It got a little squishy, and that's okay. That's why we use wired ribbon. Wired ribbon is your friend. It is your bestest friend. All right, now you might also want to like, I'm going to twist my bow just a little bit. There we go. Because I want to make sure that my directional ribbon is not upside down. So here we go. He is right side up to me from my perspective. I know yours is upside down. I'll have to fix that. I'll have to switch my Mevo camera around on the pole. It's not something that I can do in the app. So if you're going to comment at me about him upside down, please don't, because I already know. I know. Okay. So this is what we have now. Farmhouse. I realized I left my glue gun in the other room, so bear with me. Hold on just a second. I left the glue gun. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that. I was working in my family room last night and I left my glue gun in there. Okay, so we are going to plug this in and let this start heating up. In the meantime, I'm going to look at my balls. Boy, that doesn't sound right. All right, we're going to look at what are we going to do with these other spots around here. So, I'm going to make sure that they're not stuck underneath the sign, okay? So we're doing that first. Double checking that first, okay? Actually, you know what? We're going to move that way. There we go. Okay. So we have a set here. Have this here. Here. All right. So we're doing good. What I want to do is look at the couple of things we're going to be putting in here. So I do have these little cotton pieces. I'm going to put one in the bow for sure. Actually, maybe a little smaller one in the bow. Then I do have some larger ones. So for example, I could probably put one here. This one's going to be for a rattan bow, so I can probably maybe put one there. Just around different parts of the wreath. Even on the outside ring, so it doesn't always have to be on the inside ring. I'm going to put some on the outside as well. So this helped me gauge what I'm going to do for that. I'm not going to add any more bows because I don't think it needs it, and I think it would take away from the bow that we have down here. Okay, I am going to trim this one a little bit, so let me find my scissors. What on earth did I do with my scissors? Here they are. Okay, because this one's just a little long, so I'm just going to take maybe a ½ inch off. There we go. That lays much better. I like that better. Okay, and then I'm going to go through right now and just kind of refluff, because we've been working on this wreath, right? So we've been touching it, move it around. So I'm going to make sure I've got the placement of my ribbon tails looks good, because if I glue anything in, you know, I want to make sure that my ribbon tails look good in case they get, you know, permanently put in that position. So here we go, going around. Again, this is why wired ribbon is your friend. If you ever get some ribbon that's really scrunched on a wreath, if you stored your wreath and, oh my gosh, it got squished, what you can do is, I take a hair dryer. Now, you're not going to blast the crap out of your wreath, but you're going to hold it far enough away where it's going to warm that up a little bit, okay? And then you're going to warm it up. You're going to like run your fingers like this to get out any wrinkles, and then run your fingers along the edges of the wire. Did you see how that just popped up? It gives it a nice curl again on your ribbon. You can do that too when you're going through the first time and you want to make sure all your ends look really nice. Just run your fingers all along those edges and it'll just make them pop and curl, and it's like adding the hairspray after you've done the full updo, right? It's just kind of a final finishing touch, which will look nice. Okay, I'm going to take these back, put these back over here for now. I want to look at the rattan balls, so let's see which ones we're going to use. Uh-oh. That was my alarm telling my daughter to take her medication. I'll do that later. It must be 8 o'clock. All right. So let's look at this box. Now this comes with all sorts of stuff in here. There's some sticks. I'm not going to use those, but I do want to get, do you see that some of the balls are darker and some are lighter? So I want to get a mix of different patterns from here. So it's not like I'm going to pick all the ones that have the yarn around it. I'm going to pick just a couple. Okay. Here we go. Just almost stabbed myself in the chest. That probably was not smart. How do I get in here? I don't want to destroy the box because I need it for storage. So I'm trying to figure out how I can open this without breaking the box. And I don't have to rush because I'm still waiting for the hot glue gun anyway. All right, here we go. Awesome. Oh, these are pretty. I know I definitely want one of these. Okay. And definitely one of these. And that. And then maybe one of these. Not too many, but just enough. I think. Okay. And there's this one is really cool. That was pretty neat. So I'm going to make sure that that gets put kind of in a somewhat prominent spot. Okay. Like there. I like that. I'm going to keep these off to the side. Maybe over here. I want to make sure I don't dump them because then it's like 52 pickup with a bunch of balls. Okay, let's see how we're doing with the glue. The glue is almost ready. I have to put another stick in. I use Gorilla Glue. These are the full size, but they come in different sizes. I find that this holds up the best for me here in the Midwest. So I like using that. It's my go-to, and I get them from Walmart. I mean, I've ordered them from Amazon, but they're more expensive on Amazon, so I just go to Walmart. All right, so first, I want to start with gluing my little cotton piece in here, okay? I'm just going to set him down right in there, okay? I don't want to press too hard because I don't want to break the back of the bud, but I'm pretty sure he's in there nice and good, okay? Now, I'm going to glue this one in, so I'm going to put it in. You see where we've got the tines in here, okay? That's going to kind of be my support, my base for this. I'm going to push it right down onto that. So I'm going to just put a whole bunch of glue all across kind of the bottom and sides. And if I notice that it needs more glue, I can put more in later. But I'm going to push that on there. Now it's going to catch those tines. It's going to catch a little bit of the ribbon underneath it as well, which is exactly what I want it to do. For example, over here, I want to make sure that I do get some of that beige ribbon stuck onto that. Now the glue can come through the ribbon if it's too hot, so just be careful with your fingers, okay? We don't want any accidents. I am the queen of burning oneself with the glue gun, and trust me, you do not want to do that. It hurts very badly. Okay, got that. Now I think for up top, let's add the airy one kind of like right up top, okay? Now this one, I got to make sure I put the glue on the actual pieces because it's got, you know, the holes in it. So I got to make sure I get the glue on the rattan and not just dripping through, okay? Put that right on there and I'm going to press it down. Okay, nice. I'm going to add a little bit, I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here. There we go, just to make sure extra support. Now some people have a glue pot where they'll just take a stick and wipe it on there. You can use a glue pot too. I just, I find that I burn myself a bit more. I put too much glue on and then it drips all over me. So I like the control of using one of these. Okay, now, let's see. How many more of these do I have? I had a big one here. Do I still have a big one on the other side? I think I stuck one in there, but I'm not sure. Yep, here it is. All right. So, I'm going to put one of these in here. I'm putting the glue on like the back part of the leaves, a little bit on the cotton, but honestly the cotton can pull off, so I want to put it on the leaves, okay? And then that's just going to go right on top of the tines. And it's in. In like Flynn. I don't know who Flynn is, but okay. All right. I don't like where that one's placed. I want to pull that over a little bit more. There we go. Because I don't want to hide the cotton. It looks really pretty. All right. There we go. You can't see the whole thing, but enough is popping out that we can see it. I'm going to put the other big one kind of up here. Okay. So put the glue on the back. See, it's on the leaves. I'm going to turn that over. Make sure it gets on the tines and a little bit on the ribbon. Just for added security. Oh, here we go. Oh, and that one's got to go that way. There we go. That looks good. There we go. I'm liking that. Liking that. Which means now I can take one of these little rattan balls, the dark one. I'm going to kind of put it like right here. Put enough glue on it. I don't want to go so far down that you end up seeing the glue like on the sides. It just has to kind of be on the bottom. And I can add a little more if I want to. For example, right here. I'm going to put a little dab on the ribbon and then move that up and then just touch it, you know, enough where it's going to adhere but not soak through and burn your finger. All right. I'm cleaning up what I call my glue snot. Sometimes I pull the glue gun away too early and I end up with these strings. So I have to go through when I'm done and make sure I get all that off of there. That's kind of like part of my once over before I take my final pictures of everything. All right. I think over here, probably could use a small, like a smaller tiny ball. So let's see if there's like a tiny little, small little white one. I got a small brown one right here, nice and small, because there's not a lot of space to work with here, okay? Here we go. All right, perfect. Put a little bit on there. There we go. All right. So that's kind of what we have on the top layer. Now I'm going to go through and, now that I like how the top looks, I'm going to add a little bit more. Like I'm going to add one over here, because you see I have like a big one here, a big one here. We're going to put one over here. It's on the bottom layer now. It's on the bottom. But it's still prominent. You'll be able to see this a lot. So I'm going to make sure, put a lot of glue on there, and I just shove it right in. All right, just kind of hold it. Okay. Now I'm going to put a little cottony tuft down here. And then a little ball in there. Okay. Now put a little cotton tuft up here. Because I have a big ball up here, I just want to put a little cotton right behind it. There we go. Ow, ow, ow. Burnt my finger. ball maybe in here. There we go. These balls are staying in there very nicely. Sorry. Dirty mind, dirty mind. There we go. All right. Coming around again. Probably put a little cotton over here. I'm leaving a space, so I did cotton, and then I can put a ball, and now I'm putting the cotton, okay? I'm going to get probably maybe a larger sized ball this time. Actually, I think I like this one, this rope one. I'm going to put the rope one in there. And I still have a lot of these balls left, so it actually, for 20 bucks, I'm getting a lot out of this. All right. Sorry, I got to move these ribbons out of the way. They're catching the... Ah! Oh my gosh. Hold on. I'm just making a mess. Give me a minute. Ah! There we go. All right. I just want to be able to see everything clearly. All right? Okay, so then we had cotton. I'm going to put another piece of cotton here. It's our last piece of cotton. And then I'm going to do 2 more balls. And then that should kind of do it. So we really got the balls. We put it right in the middle of the ribbon ties, right? So it's kind of, it's like a nest, if you think of it that way. It's like a nest of ribbons. So we kind of put it in the nest. Okay. Anytime you see a stray little piece of this, snip it. It can't hurt. Okay, now I'm going to put one of these rattan balls right in here like that. Might need to put a little bit more glue. Got to add another glue stick in here. I ran out, so I might have to touch that up and add just a hair more glue. Let's see. Yeah, maybe just a little bit underneath this one ribbon. I can just push it on there. I mean, I like it really to be on the tines, but it's nice to have a little bit of anchor on some of the ribbons just so that there's a little less jiggle in the wiggle, if you know what I'm saying. You know? Okay, and then we're going to put our final ball on the bottom. I think we're going to go for a lighter color. I think we're going to go for one of these. Oh wait, no we're not, because I already used one over there. I'm just going to go for one of these smaller ones because the bow is already hanging down over it, so I'll have something there, but it's not going to be massive because the whole point is really focusing on the bow. So here we go. There it goes. Stay on. Ugh. Okay. All right, let me move this out of the way. And we are complete. Let's take a finished look at this. Let's talk about what we used. We used a 15 to 20 inch wreath frame in beige. It's called a work frame that I got from Craft Outlet. We used 2 rolls of 18-inch mesh. I got one from Hobby Lobby. The checkered mesh was from Hobby Lobby. And the brown with the little white in it, that was also from Hobby Lobby. Now that was the Christmas section. So what to note there is, if you're making wreaths, there's lots of colors and patterns you can get on clearance at Christmas that you can use year-round. For example, solid red for Valentine's, green for St. Patrick's Day. The red can also work for 4th of July, okay? Most of these ribbons you can find at places like Craft Outlet. These are usually RG ribbons, which stands for really great ribbon. The importer for those is usually Craig Bachman. That's where a lot of people get their supplies from. That's the wholesaler. So that's where the ribbons came from. The rattan balls are from the At Home store. The cotton tufts, I don't remember where I got those, to be honest. But you can find them like Hobby Lobby. They come on a stick. Sometimes you can get them in a bag. And then this farmhouse sign was also from Craft Outlet. All right. I got a little piece of, there we go, getting the booger off. All right. So here, we turn it upside down for you. Here is our finished wreath. I know it has taken us a while. It's taken us about an hour and we'll say like a little less than an hour and a half to make this. It could go faster if I probably wasn't talking and I didn't forget my glue gun in the other room. But that's the products we used. So I do have lots of other tutorials here on YouTube. I also do sell my products at sweetariadecor.com. That is a redirect that will take you right to my Etsy site. And if you want anything ever custom made, I love to do that. And you can message me through Etsy. That's the place to message me through. And we can work together on creating something awesome and fun. You know, patriotic, or if there's something you like for Halloween. I do wreaths for every occasion. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you will subscribe if you like this. All right.